Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF44 coming at you with another video. All right, so the score was 127-113. The Lakers fall to the Memphis Grizzlies at home for their fourth, I believe. Fourth straight loss. Yeah, it's the fourth. Well, I guess I can start with saying LeBron James did not, in fact, hit Jaren Jackson in the face on a play where the coach of the Memphis Grizzlies ran out on the court in front of Taurean Prince and completely stopped a fast break in objection to what he thought was LeBron hitting Jaren Jackson in the face. And somehow the coach didn't manage to get thrown out of that game. I thought that was really telling. You like literally stand in front of a basketball player, get out on the court, complaining, flailing your arms like you about to fight somebody, and only get one technical. I'm kind of confused by that. But Jaren was holding LeBron's arm, and LeBron was trying to get his arm free. And I think that was a brilliant move by Jaren Jackson because he knew that he had hit LeBron James in the face in a previous play. So the way he made it look like is he was going to hold Bron's arm, Bron was going to flail away, and then he was going to flop off of him while he was on the ground in that scrum and make it look like LeBron hit him in the face, try to get LeBron thrown out the game. I thought it was brilliant, to be honest with you. So as if the referees could easily assume that it was retaliation, so would everybody else, when in actuality it was Jaren Jackson pulling a Dennis Rodman. So that's the first thing I wanted to say about that game. I just thought that was rather brilliant by Jaren Jackson. It didn't work, but it was smart. The Grizzlies shot 51% from behind the arc on 45 attempts, ladies and gentlemen. That's what needs to be said. They hit half of their threes, man. Jaren Jackson had 5 of them. Zaire Williams hit 2. I think Ja hit 3. Bane hit 5. And Marcus Smart hit 9. And honestly, I really felt like the Lakers just did not have defense going all night long. The first quarter, we had 10 steals, I believe it was. I don't know if I actually got that stat correct, but I believe that was a franchise high for the first quarter in steals, or any quarter in steals. I'm not really quite sure how that goes. But we had 10 of them, but I kid you not, I think those are the only stops we actually got. Marcus Smart started hitting threes early in the game and never stopped attempting them. And was just hitting them all night long, man. He was looking like Steph Curry out there. I was calling him Steph Smart. Bron had the 3 going in the first half as well, but stopped shooting it. And, we just did not adjust our defense to kind of match their scoring from behind the arc. And that really was the story of the night for us, man. It really was. As sad as it sounds, that's about the story right there. The Lakers just never adjusted. I don't really know exactly what the schematics would be. I'll have to defer to somebody else. But it seemed to me that the Lakers just never actually identified that they were getting a barrage of 3 thrown at them. It's like we never identified that was really the only thing Memphis ever wanted to do. We had to run them off the 3-point line and have them score 2s. And we just never did that. We never did that. I thought our fourth quarter was especially lackluster. It was almost like the team gave up. Bron started missing free throws at the line, and I think the team followed in energy. Energy was good through 3 quarters, but we just kind of let our shoulders kind of slump once some threes started really hitting. And you could see it on Darvin's face, man. You could see it. He knows he's going to be fired. This is one of those. That's why my tone is this way, because you could see it on his face. He looked like he was about to cry over there on that sideline when that game ended. He knows. We know, and he knows it's over. Now, whether or not they fire him at the end of this game, or maybe at the end of the next game, or if they let him finish the season, it don't matter. He ain't going to be back next season. I can tell you that much for certain. He will not. And that's pretty much the end of that. Anthony Davis had, 32 points or something like that? Bron had like 31. Austin had a pretty big game with like 13 assists, double digits. Didn't quite get the triple double. Stuck at 7 rebounds almost this whole second half, it seemed. Who else? Somebody else scored. D'Lo actually did not go. I thought he was going to give it a go, but he ended up not being available. Neither did Rui. So we were a bit limited out there. Max Christie played a little bit. Didn't really do too much. Christian Wood, I thought, had a pretty good game, but coach never put him back in the game. In that second half, after having a pretty good first quarter. Same thing with Vanderbilt. It seemed like our bench was a plus in the plus minus, and the players that Darvin was overplaying tonight were a significant minus. So that was telling, very telling. And, if I'm going to speak freely, I just don't think the Lakers really gave a damn in the fourth quarter. I'm going to be honest with you. I just felt like the tone was set by Bron's free throw shooting. I ain't going to sit up here and say Bron missed free throws on purpose, but I thought the Lakers legitimately took their foot off the gas in the fourth quarter, man. Legitimately, like honestly, just said, you know what? We kind of do want to lose this game so we can get this coach up out of here. Like, I literally felt that. I really did, man. And I hate to be the guy that instigates that on camera and says something like that on camera, but it was the vibe, man. It really was the vibe that I took from the game. And I said it before the game started, as I was sitting down to eat dinner when the tip-off. I was like, this is the game where we're going to find out if this team really wants this coach at the helm anymore. If they fight like they have their lives on the line, they're trying to save his job. If they play a little hard and then at the end of the game take their foot off the gas, they want him gone. And that's exactly what I saw, ladies and gentlemen. I ain't good at lying, man. I suck at it. I am not good at lying. I would love to sit up here and say the Lakers just lost the game because they just didn't play perimeter defense well enough. And yes, that is absolutely the case. But I felt the Lakers legitimately took their foot off the gas, man. I thought that. I really did. I thought LeBron James took his foot off the gas. And I thought most of the team followed, man. Taurean Prince, I thought he had a pretty good game, man. He had some pretty spectacular blocks in this game, which really stood out. I don't remember exactly what his point total was. I don't remember how well he shot. I just remember the shot block. Two shot blocks. I think he had 2 blocks on the game. One for certain. That's what stood out about Taurean. But we played him all night long. I know that. Cam Reddish did some good things stealing the ball in the first half. He put energy out there. But when you needed him on the floor the most at the end of the game, him and Vanderbilt were necessary for the defensive ends, particularly on the perimeter, and we just didn't see them out there. It's like if you're getting hit in the head with a bunch of threes, wouldn't it make sense to put some guys on the floor that can guard the perimeter? That was my thing. It was just certain things that I saw out there. I'm just like, man, Darvin, I know you don't want to lose your job, but the urgency to keep your job should be within the desperation of how this game is strategized. You know what I mean? I think he spent more time being depressed about being fired rather than preparing for the game to keep from being fired. I really genuinely took that from this game. Like, his preparation for this game was no better than any other game that we didn't appreciate. I didn't see the same preparation for the Pacers game that we had in that championship game. You would think you would see that from here on out from him. You study every game, every team back and front. You make sure you make in-game adjustments. You keep your best players on the floor. If something's going down, you stop the bleeding immediately because you're fighting for your life. I thought he took his foot off the gas. It started looking like he was just depressed out there. And I thought the Lakers took their foot off the gas because they tired of him and want him up out of there. That's exactly how I feel, man. That's what I felt. That was the vibes. It was the vibes, man. So I would not at all be surprised if Jeannie Buss fires him tomorrow morning, man. It's over with. We're not going to beat the Clippers in the next game. That's not happening. I tell y'all right now before that game even starts, if the Clippers even do half of what they're supposed to do, we ain't got a chance in hell. Not a chance in hell. They're a better team. They're a lot better than us. And the Memphis Grizzlies, I didn't think were. This is a team that was coming in, and as I told you guys in the pregame video, they ain't even shooting the ball like that. Marcus Smart had missed like 33s in a row or something like that before coming into this game and hitting 9 of them. You know, so it's not like we expected this team to be the Golden State Warriors, but just like most teams do, they're able to shoot shots against us. This reminded me of the Dallas Maverick game that I refer to quite a bit. It's the most embarrassing or frustrating game for me of the season. The Dallas game where Dante Exum hit like 8 threes, and I always tell y'all it was Williams who had shot 5 of them, hit 5 of them rather, and Hardaway had hit 5 of them as well. This is exactly like that. The exact same thing, only more threes, more. And so I hear people refer to drop coverage. I don't know if that's what I saw. I saw a little zone out there for sure, but it seemed like we were playing off of that 3-point line. I can tell you that. And for me, nothing was more important than running the Grizzlies off of the 3-point line. Midway through the third quarter, I would have been pressing up against that line, man, and I'd let them have layups before I let them shoot the way they were shooting. Especially since they were so damn hot. I mean, 51%. I mean, and then they shot 50% from the field too. So even when you were giving up layups, they were hitting those too. So, you just didn't score enough tonight. And it's another one of those games where you sit up and say, how come we couldn't score? Bron's giving us 30-something. AD's giving us 30-something. And we still can't score the ball enough to even stay in range with teams like the Memphis Grizzlies, who are not a good scoring team. If I'm not mistaken, they're the lowest scoring team in the NBA right now. Now, granted, they got John Morant back, so that changes things. But at the same time, you got to be able to put up some points, man. And Desmond Bane just was hitting threes in that fourth quarter. He was hitting some back-breaking threes, and they were open. All of them were open, man. Marcus Smart, threes was open. It's like the team just didn't try to guard the perimeter, and the defense wasn't structured for them to adjust to guarding the perimeter. So for me, it's just like, all right, I don't need to see anything else, Jeannie. I really don't, man. If there was going to be any urgency for these two parties, the coaching staff and the players, to fight for one another, they showed us that they didn't have it. Darvin didn't have it in terms of preparation for this team tonight, and the team didn't have it in terms of fighting for his job. That's it, man. Because I'm telling you, if I don't want my coach fired, we're going to be over there with a different energy in that fourth quarter tonight. It's just going to be a different vibe. We're going to be huddling together. We're going to have our arms around each other. We're going to be talking about screaming and hollering. It's going to be a lot more demonstrative, intentional winning going on. If we don't win the game, we're going to be looking like we were trying. I didn't see that tonight at all. I saw guys who were just fine with the outcome. Just fine. And that, to me, tells me that he's lost the locker room, man. It's not that they were fine with losing, but they were fine with losing this game if it's going to get him up out of here. I'm telling y'all, man. Like I said, I'm no good at lying. And that is what I saw, man. And then the next game is against the Clippers. Big changes are coming, man. That's what I know. Rob Pelinka, I looked at him. There, 3-minute mark in the fourth quarter, they panned over to him. You can see it in his face too. It's gonna be some new Lakers here, man. It's gonna be some new people in this uniform. Some of the guys that was on that floor tonight will not be Lakers much longer. And that coach is not gonna be coach much longer for this team unless the Lakers just absolutely don't feel they can replace him with anybody even close to good enough to doing the job. And from what I understand, they're about ready to give it to Phil Handy. Like, that's the murmurs. Like, they just gonna hand it over to Phil. Now, I don't know if that's the greatest idea. I like Phil in his role, but he's taken over the team a couple times, and I didn't agree with what I saw. So I don't know that he's gonna do a much better job in that role at all. But Darvin has lost his team, man. He's lost his team. Straight up and down, you guys. And if ever there was any indication of that, it was these last 3 basketball games. This team just didn't have it. They didn't have it. And in that first half, they looked like they had good energy. It looked like we were well on our way to doing some good things. It looked like they were well on their way to fighting. But once you started seeing the Memphis Grizzlies really hitting the ball from behind the arc, you really started to understand what type of night they were having. The urgency and the faith in one another just seemed to disappear, man. Especially in the fourth quarter. 19-point quarter. We didn't have it, man. We only turned the ball over 14 times, you know. Like I said, we had like 10 steals in the first quarter, I think it was. I don't remember how many we had at the end. I don't even remember looking at that stat at the end of the game. But even then, in the midst of all of that, I felt like our defense was crap. Lackluster, not guarding the perimeter, not guarding nothing really. And we were kind of keeping up with them scoring. That was really what it was. We were able to keep up with Bron hitting threes in the first half. And, you know, Christian Wood had it going pretty good. You know, AD was, you know, getting involved and scoring very well in the first half. So you could clearly see where the hope was at one point in place. But as the game started to progress, you could just tell. You could tell. It was a moment where Bron was at the free throw line. He had missed his fourth free throw in that quarter, and it just became clear to me that this is not going to go our way. And the score hadn't even gotten out of hand yet, but you could just feel it. You could feel it. It wasn't about to work out. And by the end, they were just hitting back, breaking threes. Like I said, Desmond Bain it was almost like Desmond Bain was trying to shoot Darvin Ham out of a job, man. I hate to put it like that. That's what it felt like to me, man. Desmond Bain was just going to really drive home the point. Like, yo, this guy, we gonna end him tonight. That's what it felt like to me, man. So, you know, I don't know. Maybe the Lakers surprise me and don't fire the coach in the morning. You feel me? Maybe they do, but listen, man. It's not just that you lose; it's how you lose. And the way the Lakers lost tonight, not adjusting to the perimeter heater that the whole team was basically on, letting Marcus Smart, a bad 3-point shooter, look like Steph Curry on the floor out there against our defense. All three of the players on our bench with positive plus minuses, while everybody he used over 30 minutes had negative 20 something like that. That's like, yo, bro. And then you got like 5 players on that bench that didn't never get checked into the game. It's like, all right, fam. All right, Darvin, you got it, bro. You got it, brother. You know, one thing that's really baffling is Austin Reeves plus minus versus his production. He's like a minus 26 on the night with almost a triple-double and massive assists. Another thing that was baffling about the stats was Desmond Bain's assist numbers. He had 14 assists or something like that on the night? I mean, like, some of that stuff was like, what the hell? Desmond Bain must have been the guy passing to every 3-point shot that was taken. Because I don't know, man. I don't know. This was just a very strange statistical night. It really was. Very strange statistical night. Lakers lose by double digits. 4th loss in a row, as I've already said. Record is now, 17-19 or something like that. 2 games below 500. Anthony Davis, Bron James above 30 points. Playing like all-stars, both of them. On a night where LeBron James was hot in the first half. It's just baffling. It's really baffling. I understand we're missing some players, but it's baffling how bad this team is doing right now after winning the in-season tournament. It's like they completely stopped playing basketball. Everything they were doing in that tournament, won every game in the tournament. And then it's like after winning, they just decided to stop competing. We've won 3 games since. The tournament ended in like early December. It is January 5th. We're one of the worst teams in basketball since that point. Meanwhile, you look at the team that we beat in that in-season tournament, they dropped their second 150-point game on the Atlanta Hawks of the season. Like, it's just not. This is a bad overall look, man. You look all over the league and you see blowouts everywhere, and then you look at us and just see yet another blowout, and we're on the wrong side of it. You look in the last game and everybody was scoring over 140 points, and you look at us and we were scoring under 100. Yo, enough. Enough, Laker Nation. Enough, fam. Changes need to be made, and I don't think we need to wait till the next game to make those changes. Rob Pelinka. I really don't. If you got a trade to make, let's get them out of here. Get everybody out of here that ain't named Braun, AD, and basically Austin Reeves, man. Everybody else can pretty much either leave or be dangled. That's where we at, man. The team ain't good enough as a collective. They not about to be champs, fam. Let's just be honest. They're not. Some of these dudes, they're not championship worthy, man. Maybe they would be in certain other situations. Maybe we can bring those situations to them by changing the team a little bit. But as of right now, this collective unit, they've reached their peak in the in-season tournament, and I think that's more than clear to everybody here. That's more than clear to know. The whole Laker Nation knows that. We ain't going to be celebrating nothing at all but that in-season tournament unless we make some drastic changes immediately, in my opinion. So I'm just going, that's it, Darvin. That's it, brother. It's time. It is time. I don't need to see nothing else personally. I just don't have time for this. Now, and I say this in this video, just like I say in a lot of videos in regards to this conversation, if we had a different timeline where LeBron James wasn't in a position to opt out at the end of the season, and we didn't have him at age 39 in year 21, I would have no problem with letting Darvin ride this out a little bit. I'd be very frustrated, but if the timeline was younger, we could be cool. It's a second-year coach. The team is struggling. A lot of successful coaches have been in this situation, maybe even did worse and kept their jobs, but they didn't have this specific problem on their hands. With two Hall of Famers expecting to win championships, both having healthy seasons, failing so bad, and it ain't their fault. That has to fall on somebody, man. It does. And when you look at some of the stuff the Lakers are doing out there schematically, you look at the changes that have been made constantly, the inconsistency, the lack of fight as of late, the contrast in just how much they competed versus, within the tournament versus these regular season games. It's just time to make a change, man. You got to look at Darvin Ham. You got to look at the guy who's controlling the puzzle pieces and just say they're not fitting, man. It's your job to make sure they do. You got some very talented players that are not being utilized. We got some stones unturned in some of our young guys who hold elements that we could clearly use. When you see them play at their best, you can use Demoy Hodges' catch and shoot ability, his steals. You could use Max Lewis's scoring and athleticism in the open court. You could use a lot of stuff that we just haven't tried, man. Jalen Hood-Schifino's ability to set up players in the offense. He should have, by way of what it is that we did with our draft, he should have been utilized. He should, that's one of the biggest problems Darvin has had right there, is going without guards during a good portion of this losing that we've had here. Putting them forwards on the ground. You should have known better. We drafted a whole point guard that you need to be developing. You got to make him look good, man. And you didn't even put a point guard on the floor because you wanted to run a bunch of defensive players. And when you got the best defensive player in the league, you needed offense and you weren't playing your offensive players. You gave us no explanation for why guys were in your doghouse. We couldn't figure it out. You let certain guys who were not any good a lot of the time play a good portion of the minutes. I mean, some of this stuff is just like, it's how the team is being utilized by the person in charge. It's not just the players struggling. It's the stuff you're asking them to do. And so that's it for me, man. I don't need to see nothing else. I don't need to see nothing else. You know what I mean? I don't like calling for people's job. I do not take pride in this. But I have to say, man, it's time. It's time to fire Darvin Ham, you guys. It just is, man. For our situation, I hope he does get another coaching position. I think he'll be great as an assistant if he goes back to the assistant role, maybe for some time and figure out, just what he's learned from this situation and how to carry it into a different one. That would be great. He's now had some coaching experience, coached some Hall of Famers, got to the Western Conference Finals. He's done some good things as a head coach, so I'm pretty sure he'll get another opportunity down the road. He will. But he's gonna have to bump his head here or learn from this situation here. And next time, to choose a position that doesn't have so much pressure, and definitely don't be trying to, coach no Hall of Famers, bro. You need a young team. You're a rookie coach. You need a young team, man, that can grow, that'll listen, that won't give up on you. Not guys that have been in this thing for so long that they need to win right now and don't have time for any mistakes, overcorrections and stuff like that. We just didn't have time for it. We don't have time for it. You know what I'm saying? We just don't have time for this. And so this is a somber video, man. I'm not happy to see Darvin get fired. I like seeing new coaches get opportunities to succeed. He has gotten us to the Western Conference Finals. The team has said they're not going to fire him at the end of this game, so if they don't fire him, I won't be overly shocked. But I can tell you this, the decision to fire him has been made in my mind. Now, whether they do it tonight, tomorrow, next week, whatever, this is the game that you lost the team for real. And given the fact that we play the Clippers next and we ain't beat them very much, we beat them one in the last 10 times or something like that, knowing that they're fully healthy, knowing that they just won the game tonight, I don't know that he'll be coaching that game, man. I don't know that he'll be coaching that game, and I don't know that everybody on the team will be on the team at that game. I don't think so. I legitimately think if there's a trade to make, we'll make it before that game. I think so. I know the market doesn't necessarily work that way, so I don't want to mislead people, because you don't just hastily make a trade. You have to wait till the market opens up a certain way. You got to make sure the pieces are made and all of this and that. Maybe that doesn't happen soon enough, but if it can, I think it gets done. If it can, I'm pretty certain the decision is already in place now. So, yeah, man, that's it, man. I know there's going to be a lot of people who are happy to hear Darvin hear me say these words, but you know, at the end of the day, man, I want to see my team succeed. I want to see my coach succeed. You know what I mean? I didn't particularly love Frank Vogel. I didn't like Luke Walton as coaches. I didn't like Byron Scott as a coach. You know, we've had some bad coaches as of late, man. It just is what it is, and unfortunately, Darvin just has to be added to that list. You know, those guys weren't able to get us where we needed to go, except for Frank Vogel in the bubble, for which we're very thankful for. But it's just more of the same, man. And I'm just not excited to see what this front office is going to do in regards to the coaching. They haven't made good decisions in that area. You know, and I got a whole long list of coaches I do not want to coach my team. So that's also part of the somber mood. Is like, if we're going to fire him, who are we hiring, man? Do not bring Doc to us, man. I don't want no parts of Doc Rivers for a multitude of reasons, but none more than he covered up our damn banners. He should never be the coach of our team. Okay, that's the main reason for me. You covered up banners, Kobe Bryant, Magic Johnson. You will never be the coach of my team if I have anything to say about it, Doc Rivers. Never. So I mean that. But you know, as far as everything else, man, I know who should also never be the coach, and that's Darvin Ham. Nah, not anymore, fam. BDL 44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.